Rancher saved her daughter. What the Apache mother told him changed his life forever. Cole Carson's life was quiet. He had built a small ranch on the edge of the Wild West, far from the busy towns. The land was harsh, but Cole had always found peace in its solitude. His days were filled with the work of caring for the animals and maintaining the land. He wasn't one for company. The people of the nearby town would stop by once in a while, but Cole preferred the calm of his ranch. After his wife had passed many years ago, he had grown used to being alone. One evening, as the sun set behind the mountains, painting the sky with vibrant shades of orange and red, Cole mounted his horse. He had noticed something strange on the edge of his land, a disturbance in the usual quiet. As he rode closer, he spotted something moving in the distance, just beyond the rocks near the creek. At first, Cole thought it might be a wild animal. A bear, perhaps, or even a coyote. But as he got closer, he saw a group of figures. Humans, it seemed, but not ones he recognized. They were dressed in the traditional clothes of the Apache, their faces painted for battle. The group was struggling, trying to fight off a creature Cole had never seen before. It was large, almost twice the size of a man, with glowing eyes and rough, scaly skin. Its claws seemed sharp enough to tear through metal. The Apache warriors fought bravely, but the creature was too strong. One of them, a young woman, had been knocked to the ground, and the beast was moving in for the kill. Cole didn't hesitate. He kicked his horse into a gallop, drawing his rifle from its holster. The sound of the gunshot echoed through the valley as the bullet struck the creature in its side. It roared in pain, turning toward the new threat. Cole fired again, hitting the creature in the shoulder, sending it reeling back. With a final shot, the beast crumpled to the ground, lifeless. The Apache warriors stood in stunned silence for a moment, their gazes fixed on the man who had saved their own. Cole dismounted his horse, his boots thudding softly against the earth as he approached the young woman who had been knocked down. She was breathing heavily, her face pale but determined. "You all right?" Cole asked, his voice rough from the ride. The woman nodded, pushing herself up with a grimace. "I will be." She stood, her movements slow, as if still dazed by the fight. Her eyes met Cole's, and for a moment they simply stared at each other, the tension of the battle still thick in the air. The other Apache warriors slowly gathered around, watching him carefully. They were tall, strong men and women, their faces marked with the symbols of their people. One man, much older than the rest, stepped forward, his eyes narrowing as he studied Cole. "Who are you, outsider?" the man asked, his voice deep and commanding. "I'm Cole Carson," the rancher replied, standing tall. "I live a few miles from here, just over that ridge. I was on my way back when I saw you all in trouble." The man didn't seem to relax, but the young woman spoke up. "He saved my life," she said, her voice firm. "If not for him, I would be dead." The older man didn't seem convinced. His eyes flicked to the dead creature and then back to Cole. "You are not Apache. Why help us?" "I didn't think. I just saw a woman in danger and did what anyone would have done." The older man studied him for another long moment, and then his face softened slightly. "Your heart is good, rancher, but we do not trust outsiders so easily." Before Cole could respond, a new voice called out from behind them. "Enough, Chogan," the voice said, calm yet full of authority. "This is no ordinary man." Out from the shadows stepped a woman, tall and proud, with eyes that seemed to carry the weight of many battles. She was older than the young woman Cole had just saved, but there was a strength about her that made her seem timeless. Her dark hair was braided down her back, and she wore a headdress of feathers that marked her as a leader. Cole felt a chill run down his spine as she approached. There was no denying the power she held, even without a word spoken. The older man, Chogan, bowed his head slightly as she came closer, his gaze respectful. "This is Chief Etsko," Chogan said, his tone full of reverence. Cole took off his hat and gave a short bow, though he didn't fully understand the customs of the Apache. He had only ever heard rumors of their ways, but never had he expected to meet a leader like this. "I'm honored," Cole said simply. Chief Etsko looked him over for a moment before speaking. "You saved my daughter's life, Cole Carson. That is a debt I will not forget." Cole looked at the young woman beside him. Nahani, he now realized. She had been the one to fall, the one he had saved. Her face flushed slightly as she looked away, clearly uncomfortable with the attention. "It was nothing," Cole said quickly. "Anyone would have done the same." Chief Etsuko's gaze remained steady. Perhaps. But not all men would have the courage to act when faced with the unknown. "You are a man of honor, and I will not let that pass by unnoticed." Nahani's mother's words hung in the air, heavy with meaning. Cole wasn't sure what it all meant, but he felt something shift in that moment. There was more to the Apache people than just their fight for survival. Something about the way they lived, The traditions they held close called to him in a way he couldn't explain. "Come," Etsuko said. "You will come with us to our camp. There is much to discuss." Cole hesitated for a moment, his eyes flicking to his horse. The ranch wasn't far, but something told him that following these Apache people, especially Chief Etsuko, would be the start of a journey he hadn't expected. "I don't know if I belong in your camp," he said slowly, his voice uncertain. "I'm just a rancher. I have my own land." Chief Etsuko raised an eyebrow, her expression unreadable. "The land you speak of is not as separate from us as you think. It is connected. Your place in this world is not as simple as you imagine." Cole didn't understand what she meant, but he had the feeling he would find out soon enough. Without another word, he followed them. Cole Carson followed the Apache warriors, riding alongside them as they led him deeper into their land. He had never been this far into the desert before. The landscape was both beautiful and harsh. Tall rock formations stretched up like giant sentinels, and the land was dotted with dry bushes and sharp cacti. The air was still, the only sound the hooves of their horses against the dusty earth. Nahani, the young woman Cole had saved, rode beside him. She said little, but her eyes kept glancing over at him. For the first time, Cole noticed how fierce her eyes were, how her face held the weight of battles fought long before he had even arrived. Her skin was sun-kissed and strong, a mark of her people's resilience. He couldn't help but admire her silent strength. The group stopped for a short rest in a small valley where the Apache warriors made camp. A few of them set up tents while others began to prepare food over a fire. The smell of roasting meat filled the air, mingling with the earthy scent of the desert. Cole dismounted and stretched his legs, feeling the weariness of the ride. As he stepped away from his horse, Chief Etsuko approached him. She was as tall and imposing as ever, her presence commanding respect. "You are tired," she said, her voice soft but firm. "Rest. We will speak soon." Cole nodded, grateful for the moment to sit. He had spent most of his life alone, and being around so many people, even if they were strangers, made him uneasy. But there was something about the Apache people that he found fascinating. They were unlike anyone he had ever met, proud, independent, and yet there was a deep sense of unity among them. As he sat by the fire, Nahani came over with a bowl of food. She handed it to him without saying a word, her eyes still unreadable. "Thank you," Cole said quietly. Nahani nodded and walked away, joining her people near the edge of the camp. Cole took a bite of the food, savoring its flavor. It wasn't like anything he had eaten before, but it was good, simple, yet hearty. He felt the warmth of the fire and let his mind wander. The quiet was suddenly broken by the voice of Chief Etsuko. "You are a rancher, yes?" she asked, as she sat beside him, her eyes focused on the fire. Cole nodded. "That's right. Been living on my own for years, just me and the land." Etsuko studied him for a moment, as though weighing his words. "And you have no family?" Cole's face tightened for a moment. The thought of his wife, long gone, still hurt, but he didn't want to dwell on it.
He shook his head.
"No family left. It's just me now." Etsuko's expression softened slightly, though she said nothing for a moment. Finally, she spoke again, her voice quieter. "You are more connected to us than you realize." Cole looked at her, confused. "What do you mean?" Etsuko's eyes turned to the horizon, as though searching for something in the distance. "Our people, the Apache, have always lived on this land. It is our home. But not just this land. The earth itself is our home. Our ancestors spoke of a time when the stars would bring more than just light to our world. They spoke of visitors, beings from far away, who would come to test us. We have fought them for generations." Cole's heart beat a little faster as he listened. He wasn't sure what to make of her words, but there was a sense of truth in them that made him uneasy. "And what does that have to do with me?" he asked, his voice steady. Etsuko looked at him, her gaze piercing. "It is in your blood, Cole Carson. Your ancestors were not just ranchers. They were protectors. You have the strength in you to stand with us in this fight, should you choose to." Cole shifted uncomfortably. "I'm just a man who works the land. I don't know about all this fighting and protecting." Etsuko's lips curled into a faint smile. "You may not know it now, but you have been preparing for this all your life. The land has taught you how to survive. It has taught you how to fight, how to care for others. These are the skills we need in the battle ahead." Before Cole could respond, Nahani returned. She stood a few feet away, watching him with a guarded expression. "You are not like the others," she said suddenly, her voice soft but clear. "You have something they don't." Cole frowned. "What do you mean?" Nahani met his gaze, her eyes sharp. Your heart is not hardened by war like the others. You still believe in helping others. That is rare among warriors. Cole didn't know how to respond to that. He had always seen himself as just a man trying to make a living, trying to survive. But as he looked around at the Apache people, he felt a strange sense of belonging. He didn't know why, but he felt like he had been brought here for a reason. The sun began to set, casting a red glow over the valley. The Apache warriors gathered around the fire, and the sound of drumming filled the air. Cole stood up, feeling the weight of the moment settle on his shoulders. "You don't have to stay," Nahani said quietly, her voice almost a whisper. "But if you do, you will be a part of us. Forever." Cole stared at her for a moment, unsure of what to say. His heart was torn. The thought of leaving and returning to his quiet ranch life was tempting, but something inside him told him he couldn't. Not now. Not when there was so much more at stake. "I'll stay," he said finally, his voice steady. "But I don't know what I'm getting into." Nahani nodded, a small smile flickering on her lips. No one ever does. As the fire crackled and the stars began to twinkle above, Cole couldn't shake the feeling that his life was about to change forever. Whatever lay ahead, he knew one thing for certain. He wasn't the same man who had ridden into Apache territory that morning. And the Apache were no longer strangers. The days passed slowly, yet each one brought Cole deeper into the Apache way of life. He spent his mornings learning their methods of hunting, tracking, and surviving in the harsh desert environment. Under the guidance of Nahani and the other warriors, he grew stronger, more aware of the land, and more attuned to the rhythms of Apache life. Though the work was hard, he found a sense of peace in it, a peace he hadn't known in years. At night, Cole sat by the fire with the Apache, sharing stories of his past and listening to theirs. He learned about their long history, their struggles, and their victories. They were a people forged in battle, yet there was a quiet wisdom in their eyes, a wisdom that spoke of resilience and honor. Chief Etsko watched Cole closely, as though measuring him. She rarely spoke of the war they fought against the alien invaders, but Cole could feel the weight of her silence. There was something more to this fight, something that went beyond the struggles of a single people. The Apache were not just defending their land, they were defending something far older, something that connected them to the very heart of the earth. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a golden light over the camp, Etsko finally spoke of the war. She called Cole to the edge of the camp, away from the others. "Come," she said, her voice grave. "There is something I must show you." Cole followed her, his boots crunching on the dry earth. They walked for a while, the silence between them thick with unspoken thoughts. Finally they reached a small hill that overlooked the valley below. Etsko pointed to the ground at her feet. "This is where our ancestors once stood," she said softly. "The land beneath us is sacred. It holds the memories of our people, the power of those who came before." Cole looked at the ground beneath him, unsure of what she meant. But there was something about the place that felt different, almost alive. The air seemed charged with energy, and he felt a strange pull toward it, as though the earth itself was calling to him. Atsuko continued, her voice low and steady. "Our people have always known that one day the stars would bring more than just light to our world. We were prepared for the arrival of strangers, though not like the ones we face now. The invaders, the ones who seek to destroy us, are not of this world. They have come from far away, sent by a corporation that seeks to claim this land and all the power it holds." Cole's heart quickened as he listened. "Who are they? What do they want?" "They are a part of an ancient alliance of invaders. They have come to steal the knowledge of our ancestors, the power they left hidden in the earth. Our people have fought them for generations, but each time they returned stronger. Now they are preparing for their final assault. They seek to destroy us, to wipe out all traces of our heritage, and they will stop at nothing to do so." Cole swallowed hard. The weight of her words sank deep into his chest. He had heard rumors of strange visitors in the desert, but he had never imagined they were part of something so vast, so terrifying. The thought that these invaders were after something far beyond the land itself made his blood run cold. "They want the Earth's power," Cole said slowly, as if trying to make sense of it all. Etsuko nodded. "Yes, the Earth is not just a home for our people. It is a place of ancient energy. Our ancestors knew how to harness it, how to protect it. But it is not just for us. It is for all the people of this world. If the invaders take it, they will have control over everything. They will reshape the world in their image, and our way of life will be gone forever." Cole felt a deep anger rise within him. He had always fought for his land, for his family, but he had never imagined a fight like this. This was not just about survival. This was about preserving something far more precious. The Apache were not just defending their land. They were defending the future of the entire world. "I don't know how to fight this kind of war," Cole said quietly, his voice tinged with uncertainty. "I'm just a rancher. What can I do?" "The land has shaped you, taught you how to survive. You have the strength to protect what matters most." Cole didn't fully understand, but there was something in her eyes that made him believe her. He had always trusted his instincts, and right now, those instincts told him that Etsko was right. This wasn't just about him anymore. It was about something bigger, something that would change everything. The next few days were filled with preparations. The Apache warriors trained hard, sharpening their skills with weapons both traditional and alien. Cole, though still unsure of his place in this war, found himself helping wherever he could, whether it was gathering supplies, training with the warriors, or simply offering his skills as a rancher. Nahani, too, trained alongside the others, her determination unwavering. She was strong, not just in body but in spirit. Cole couldn't help but admire her. She had lived through so much, yet she never wavered. Her people depended on her, and she was ready to do whatever it took to protect them. One evening, as Cole worked beside Nahani near the campfire, she turned to him with a question in her eyes. "Do you understand now?" she asked, her voice quiet but steady. Cole nodded slowly, his gaze fixed on the flames. "I understand more than I did before. This isn't just about protecting a piece of land. It's about something much bigger." Nahani smiled, a small, knowing smile. "You have always known more than you think. Your heart has always been connected to this land, to our people. It is why you were called here." Cole didn't know what to say to that. His mind was still spinning with everything he had learned. But one thing was clear. He couldn't turn away now. He had found a new purpose here, with the Apache, and he couldn't ignore it. The final battle was drawing near, and Cole knew that he would stand with the Apache. He would fight, not just for the land, but for the future of everyone who called this planet home. As the camp settled into a quiet lull for the night, Cole gazed up at the stars. The night sky was endless, stretching out into the unknown. He didn't know what tomorrow would bring, but he was ready. The day of the final battle had arrived. The Apache camp was bustling with activity as warriors prepared for the fight they had been anticipating for years. Tension filled the air, but there was also a quiet resolve in every movement. Cole Carson, though still new to their ways, felt the weight of the moment. He'd spent the last few weeks training with the Apache, learning how to fight with their weapons, how to survive in the desert, and how to think like they did. But nothing could fully prepare him for what lay ahead. Cole stood at the edge of the camp looking out over the valley. The sun was just beginning to rise, casting a golden light over the land. It felt like the calm before a storm, and Cole couldn't shake the feeling that something big was about to happen. Something that would change everything. "Cole..." Nahani's voice broke through his thoughts. He turned to see her walking toward him, her face serious but determined. "I've been thinking about what you said," she continued, her eyes locking with his. "You said you weren't ready for this fight, but you are. I've seen how much you've learned, how much you've changed. You're not just a rancher anymore. You're one of us." Cole met her gaze, feeling a swell of emotion. The Apache people had taken him in, shown him their ways, and now they were asking him to stand beside them in their greatest battle. He had never imagined he would be part of something so important, but now it felt like his place in the world had finally clicked into place. "Thank you, Nahani," Cole said, his voice thick with emotion. "I'm not sure I deserve that kind of faith, but I'm ready to fight, not just for the Apache, but for everyone." Nahani nodded, her eyes softening. "We fight for the future, for the land, for our children, and for the legacy of our ancestors." As the day wore on, the Apache warriors gathered, their faces painted with the symbols of their people. They rode out on horseback, their movements coordinated and practiced. The air was charged with energy, the anticipation palpable. Every warrior, every fighter, was ready to defend what was theirs. Cole rode with them, his heart pounding in his chest. He had learned their ways, but today he would need to rely on everything he had ever known. His experience as a rancher, working the land, taking care of the animals, knowing how to survive in the wilderness, had given him the skills he needed. But this was something different. This was a fight for survival, a fight to protect the very land that had given him life. The Apache had always been connected to the earth in a way Cole hadn't fully understood until now. Their bond with the land was deep, their connection to their ancestors strong. They weren't just defending a piece of land, they were defending a legacy, a way of life that had existed for centuries. And now, that legacy was under threat by an alien force that sought to take everything from them. Cole glanced over at Chief Etsuko, who rode beside him. Her face was calm, her expression unreadable. She was the leader of the Apache, and in this moment she seemed like a force of nature herself. She had seen this battle coming for years, and now she was ready to do whatever it took to protect her people. As they rode toward the alien base, the sounds of the desert faded into the background. The only sound that mattered was the pounding of hooves against the earth, the wind rushing through the air, and the steady beat of their hearts as they drew closer to their destination. The alien base was situated at the foot of a mountain, its dark metal structure standing in stark contrast to the surrounding desert. The Apache warriors had been preparing for this moment for years, gathering information, developing strategies, and making sure they had the weapons and the will to fight. Cole and the Apache warriors dismounted and spread out in the shadows, preparing for the attack. There was no turning back now. The fate of their people and of the earth itself hung in the balance. "Stay close," Chief Etsuko whispered to Cole as she handed him a strange weapon, a hybrid of Apache craftsmanship and alien technology. "This is our land. We will not let them take it." Cole nodded, his grip tightening around the weapon. The plan was simple: infiltrate the base, disable the alien defenses, and take down the leaders of the invasion. It wouldn't be easy, but they had to try. The battle began as the Apache warriors charged forward, their weapons raised high. The aliens, who had been expecting the attack, fought back with everything they had. Laser beams flashed through the air, and explosions rocked the ground as the two forces clashed. Cole fought alongside Nahani, his heart racing as he took down one alien after another. He had learned to be fast, to stay low, and to use the terrain to his advantage. But this wasn't like anything he had ever faced before. The aliens were relentless, and their technology was far beyond anything the Apache had ever encountered. Despite the odds, the Apache fought with everything they had. They were not just defending their land, they were defending the very heart of the earth itself. The air was thick with the sounds of battle, the cries of the warriors, and the roar of the alien invaders. But through it all, the Apache remained strong, their bond with the land and each other unbreakable. As the battle raged on, Cole found himself face to face with the leader of the alien invaders, a tall, armored figure with glowing eyes and a voice that seemed to come from deep within the earth itself. "You think you can stop us?" the alien leader growled. "We are the future. You are nothing but relics of a dying world." Cole stood tall, his heart beating with purpose. "This land is not yours to take. It belongs to the Apache, and it belongs to the earth." With that, Cole lunged forward, using the weapon Chief Etsuko had given him. The weapon hummed with energy as it struck the alien leader, sending a shockwave through the air. The alien leader staggered back, but Cole didn't give him a chance to recover. With a final, powerful strike, he brought the alien to the ground. The battle was far from over, but in that moment, Cole knew they had a chance. The Apache were fighting not just for their survival, but for the future of the world, and with each passing moment they were getting closer to victory. The alien forces were pushed back, their leaders defeated. The Apache stood victorious, their strength and resilience proving that they were more than just survivors. They were protectors of the earth, of the land that had sustained them for generations. As the sun began to set, casting a warm glow over the battlefield, Cole stood alongside Nahani, Chief Etsuko, and the other Apache warriors. They had won, but the fight had come at a cost. The land had been scarred, but it was still theirs, and with it the legacy of their ancestors would continue. Cole looked out at the land before him, feeling a deep sense of peace. This was where he belonged. This was his purpose. The Apache had shown him what it meant to fight for something greater than himself, to protect what mattered most. And now, as he stood among them, he knew that the future was bright. Together, they had secured a future for their people, for the land, and for the earth itself.